Hi, Virginia Brown here, your favorite college admissions advisor. Here today to help you figure out how to prepare for interviews. And this is the long version for everybody that wants to make sure they have everything covered, which is fine because you should. It's that important. So first you have to research the universities, and that's a whole nother video. But basically, shortly, look up the universities that you're interested in, find the department that you think you're going to study, and then find a particular class so that you can talk about that and any other outstanding things about the university. So do that in advance and just write them down. It takes like an hour. So anyway, the night before you have an interview, you should go and get your clothes set up. Take them out, hang them up, get them ironed. I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so here is a perfect shirt for the United States. You have a collar and it's buttoned down. It's called a button down. Now, people like that in the United States because it's a little more formal than something like what I have on. This is a little more, fun. So just get it out, get it set up, make sure it's pressed and cleaned. Doesn't have to be perfect. Find your underwear, find your shoes, put them in the closet and just hang them up so you don't have to worry about it. So the dog's not going to take your shoes, and your brother's not going to mess up your shirt, and so it'll all be cool, and you don't have to worry about that. So take care of that. Okay, the next thing you want to do is go into where your internet is set up, get your computer set up, and make sure that the connection is good so that you can talk freely. Now, if you don't get Zoom, very well, if that's the way you're going to talk, suggest something to the issue. Don't say, I can't use Zoom, it doesn't work. Then you're nowhere. So what you say is, Zoom doesn't work so well, but this is what we can do. We can do Telegram or FaceTime, and I suggest we do that if that's okay with you. Then it's all done, it's set up, you don't have to freak out. When the interview starts, you don't have to fumble around, which is a bad start. So just make sure, because everybody has different environments. If you have a certain bandwidth, ask your brother or sister maybe not to play games during that time. So that's a good start. So continuing with your space, what you want to do is, after you check, make sure that the connection will be okay. You want to set up where you're going to sit. Now, most of us have a place we already do that, so it's not that big a deal. But if you don't, you want to make sure that you're sitting at a desk or a place where you can see each other very well. The lighting's fine, your chair's okay. The dog's not going to come running through. Tell your family that, hey, I'm going to be on the phone a little bit in case somebody comes running in from practice. You don't want that. So just, make sure that everybody knows. And it's just, a visual thing, just like, what I'm doing with you guys. Obviously, I'm sure many of you have done this. But it's nice to just have it set up before, because you don't have to run in and try to get everything together, because things always come up. So the day of the interview, you'll be pretty much set. You'll know about the universities, and you'll know the answers to the questions that they'll probably ask you, and that's a whole nother video. But if you do it, and there's a finite amount of information you need to know, you'll be in control of the questions. So that's another video. However, okay, so you're all dressed, your environment's all set up, everybody knows not to bug you. So before you have the interview, go do something that helps you relax. Go do something that helps get the physical tension out of you. And again, you don't have to overthink this, but if you want to go for a run, go for a run. If you come back in and just be chill, go meditate, play with your dogs, do whatever makes you happy. Now, I wouldn't go do something that involves a whole lot of other people, because they may ask you a million questions. But allow yourself the time to just relax, because if you know most of your stuff, but you're all hyper like this still because you've got all this nervous energy, that's not as good. So get your clothes ready, get ready on time. You'll see your place is already done, and go relax, go get relaxed, and then come back in about a half an hour before your interview. And at that time, I know you probably know to do this, go to the bathroom, get something to eat, bring your glass of water near your computer, and just get all set up like, hey, I'm good. So that, boom, when the guy turns, and the woman turns on the Zoom call, you'll be sitting there, and you will be beautiful and attentive and look amazing. And that is at least 50% of the interview, how it goes over. Because, and I've said it before, you've probably seen it. It's a matter of respect, first of all, to be prepared for the person who comes to interview you. I mean, they are there for you. It's important to remember that. They're not there to make you trip up. They're not there to hurt you in any way. They're there to help you. They want you to do well to get into the university. And they're already donating their own time for you. So it's important to remember that it's reciprocal. It's not just this one-way thing. They're there to actually help you and talk to you about the universities. So hopefully that'll bring down some of your, nervous nature, because it's really true. They're already there for you and they want you to do well. So they're not there to just attack you. No alumni would ever do a university a favor if they said, will you go interview this kid and see if you can make him stumble and fall, or her? Can you go talk to her and see if she's really legit? Knock her out. No, there's no way anybody would ever do that. They ask alumni, they say, can you go talk to these nice kids who have signed up and they want to know more about the university? And, and that's all they say, and then whoever is volunteering says, sure, because you're already interested in a place that they're very fond of. So that's a good thing. So they're not out to get you. Okay, now you're all set. The interviewer is about to, come online. You're sitting there, you're all prepared. You know your answers, and you know the things you're going to ask them, which we can talk about. And it's not hard. There's a finite amount of information you need to know. And I know it's nerve-wracking, but you'll be okay. And you will literally be in charge of the interview if you know all the answers. And if you practice them, you can't possibly mess up unless you freeze a little bit. And if you do, you could just tell them that. Just don't fumble around and all that. It's okay. People are nervous, they know that. I'll tell you a quick story. I had a student. He sat down and he asked me, if I was a fruit, what kind of fruit would I be at Princeton? I swear to God, he asked me that. And I was just floored. So I said to him, well, I don't know, maybe a grape. So I said, well, let's go on. Ask me something better than that. Okay, I think you can probably do a little better. So then he says, well, are the academics good at Princeton? And at that point, I just about, I really was not happy, because he obviously hadn't taken any time to even look at the university, and it's kind of a waste of time because he's probably one of the students that is just going to throw in his application. So, it was kind of a bummer, and he was young, and so I gave him one more chance because he was so nice. And I asked him, I said, try one more time. You've got to try to ask just a more specific question. And he got upset, right? I could just tell. He didn't cry, but he just was melting. And I said, I noticed, of course, and I said, are you okay? And he said, this is my first interview, and nobody would help me prepare. I'm really sorry, I just didn't know what to do. And I'm sorry, I apologize. And at that moment, I just loved this kid, because he had the courage to tell me that. Some kids wouldn't. And when he told me that, I was just filled with compassion, and I was a little embarrassed, frankly, for myself, that I had already assumed that he hadn't done the work. But a lot of you guys who are over in India and stuff don't have the benefits of people helping you a lot. In the United States, you can get people to help you. So this is what I did. So I said, go home tonight, read up for an hour on the university, write down some questions as you read through the website, and come back tomorrow and we'll start over. So he's like, okay. And I was like, oh God, please, I hope he does okay. So he came back the next day. I made special time for him, and he knocked it out of the park. He was so great, and I was so thrilled for him. He came in confident. He was like a rock star. Well, I always say that, but he was a different, student, different kid. Whereas, when he came in initially, he was like this, and he was trying to be nice, but he had no idea what was going on. So Anyway, and then he was filming, then he told me that, and we worked it through, and he ended up being one of my favorite students and not somebody that I didn't think cared. So my point is, if you're freezing in the middle of an interview, I know that that's hard. Everybody does that. You will do it again in another time in your life. It's not just now. But take a deep breath, and you can say so. You just say, this is really important to me. I'm kind of a little nervous. Let me think that through just a minute. And it doesn't have to be, deadly serious. It's just try to be a little lighthearted about it. It's not supposed to be danger and all that. It's supposed to be more like, okay, let's talk about it, and you will be okay. And that's what adults do too. And that's what you kind of need to be when you're in these interviews. Okay, so now you're sitting at your desk and you zoom in and you've already figured out your connection, whether it's going to work or not, in whatever format. The very first thing you should do, very first thing, other than, sitting there, being happy you're there and confident, because if you know all the information, you will. There's no reason you can mess up if you already know everything. Trust me, you'll feel better. Anyway, the very first thing to do is to thank them for their time. It's so important just to say thank you to people. It goes so far. And you should anyway, to anybody who helps you. But these people have taken time out of their day, which usually can be busy, to come and talk to you. So say thank you. I really appreciate you taking the time to visit with me here. It's very important to me, and I'm sure that, you have a busy schedule. So I really appreciate it. Thank you. So it doesn't have to be all, serious. You just say thank you, and you automatically start off on a good note. You look good, you're friendly, you make a connection, and they already know that you're a nice person, which is really important. The universities don't want to, let in people who are not pleasant. So you've already got across a great rapport, saying hello and saying thank you. Okay, well now here comes the part where they ask you questions, and I know you all dread this. And it's okay, that's normal. The first one, you'll be nervous. After that, you'll really kind of calm down. So the first thing they'll probably ask you is, tell me about yourself, right? Or tell me why you want to go to this school. Now, if you think about it in advance, you'll have the answer, okay? And they say, tell me about yourself. You say, well, I'm from here, and I have these brothers and sisters, and I live with these people, and my school is here, and I've always wanted to go to your university. It's wonderful. And tell them why. And you enjoy playing Frisbee, and you want to be an engineer because you love robots. And I know you have a great department in that. End of question. Easy. That's just about you. All you have to do is just practice it a little bit. It's not silly. It's not hard. So that when you get right out of the way. Okay? Now the second one they may say, or along the way, why do you want to go to our school? Again, if you research the school, you'll know the answer, right? So if they have a great engineering department and you want to study robots, that's why you want to go there, right? I mean, there are a lot of great universities, and you don't want to necessarily go to a great university if they don't have what you want to study. I mean, some people throw their applications in, but they don't really, get through. The ones that are specific and passionate are the ones that make an impression and are remembered, which is what you want. So when they say, why do you want to go to our school? You can say, well, I like the soccer program. I really want to study the arts, and I know you have this professor who's fantastic, and I like where the location is, and I like the size, and I like being in a city, or I like being in the country, whatever it is you like. So that shows the interviewer that you've actually researched it. Because believe it or not, there are a lot of kids who don't. And sometimes because they don't know how, or that they're supposed to do that. But I'm telling you that when they say, why do you want to come to our university? The very first thing you say is about the academics. Not about the soccer team, not about where it is. The very first thing. And what you do is you say, the reason I want to come to your university is, you answer the question, okay? You don't kind of fumble around and all that stuff. So you just answer it, and you already know why you want to go there. So you should be okay. So after they ask you about, why do you want to come to our school? they're probably going to ask you more specific questions like, what major do you want to, what do you want to partake in the university? Do you have any extracurriculars that you like? What is an obstacle you've overcome in your life? Now, those questions you can prepare for in advance. And they're probably going to, ask you one of like 20 questions. And that seems like a lot. But when you have 10 interviews, you only have to learn this once. And it's not that hard. You can figure out all the answers in like 2 hours max. And then you'll have it all set. Okay? So if he asked you, or she, what's your favorite, your favorite, or what are you going to major in? You say, I'm going to major in this. I'm going to major in this. You answer the question because, and then you say that. And if they ask, who is your favorite author? My favorite author is, okay? And just think about it in advance. It doesn't have to be some Einstein book. It can literally be something like a nursery rhyme. But you have to say why. If you have something intellectual and kind of challenging, that's good. But don't just say it because you think it's going to sound great. It doesn't matter. As long as you can, say why. And I mean, even if you said, but don't say this, even if you said The Cat in the Hat is my favorite book. And they'll go, no way, really? So you don't have to be like this all the time. If you are, that's okay. But if you're a little lighthearted and you get engaged in this conversation, that's good. You want to have a lighthearted conversation where everybody likes each other, because then they'll say so when they write this letter to the university, if they do. Sometimes it helps. Sometimes it's fine because not everybody gets an interview. And that's fine, because it's true. However, if you knock it out of the park, that'll probably be reflected. So, okay. So moving forward. So he's going to, or she's going to ask you a few questions. Now this is like 90% of the interview. You're like 80% done. Just from that. Just sitting down, saying hello, answering a couple questions. 80 or 90% done. With flying colors, okay? This is why you can control a lot of it. All right? So you don't have to freak out that much. So the last like 10%, you don't know what they're going to ask. They could ask something that you really didn't prepare for. But if you're in charge, or if you're, in touch with who you are and what you want to do, you can usually, just figure it out as you talk, because it's a normal conversation. Now, and at this point, you could ask them questions, and you can ask them all along. So you don't even have to talk anymore. You don't even have to talk. Ask them questions like, do you have any programs after graduation that I may be able to partake in? And then they talk, right? And then you can say, can you tell me more about that? And then they're continuing to talk, okay? And then hopefully at that point, you can pick a topic that you really like to discuss. And you can just talk about that the whole time. I mean, I had students I talked to about instruments. I had one student who was in Tibet, and she was there when the Chinese came over and took over. We spent 40 minutes just talking about that. It was fascinating. Loved it. Did I remember that? Absolutely. Okay. So hopefully you'll be having a repertoire. And just say, if you're a cheerleader and have a ton of energy, that's cool. That's who you are. That's fine. But when you're in the interview, just tone it down a little bit. Okay? Because it's a little more serious, and you don't want the woman to think that you're kind of flighty and not taking this seriously. So just bring it down a little bit. And if you're kind of shy and reserved, try to build up your confidence more. And you can also tell the interviewer that you're not as good with words as you are with numbers, but you're here and it's really important to you. Always say, it's really important to you, and thank you for meeting with me. And your university is one of the top schools that I really would like to go to. Okay. Anyway, okay. So at the end, again, you are gracious. You say thank you. You can laugh a little bit, just like you met a new friend. Okay, because they're there. Actually, they want to like you. Okay, so you're already done. It's like 45 minutes or whatever. Boom, done. You're out of there. Thank you so much for your time. I learned a lot about the university. I really would like to attend there. Thank you so much for your support. Saying thank you, you should say thank you to everybody whenever they do anything for you, even if they don't. So again, even on the Common App this year, they added a question about being grateful. And they specifically put that in because it's specifically important to remember that this year, especially with COVID, when so many people have lost their lives. So they're looking for that. How can the student express gratitude and graciousness? And do it from your heart. It's okay. It doesn't have to be totally, like a robot. I'm just kind of laughing a little bit because I want to get through this and make sure you know that it's not all doom and gloom. Being gracious and wonderful is going to take you a long way because who would you want to be a roommate with, right? Somebody who's really pleasant and grateful, or somebody who's kind of arrogant and doesn't care? They're going to let the person in who's gracious every time. Okay? And now you're done. Now you can go get something to eat. And that's it for today. Virginia Brown, your favorite college admissions advisor, signing off. I believe in you, and you're doing a great job just by being here, wanting to listen to this. So, and you could look at some of my social media places, sites, that where you can click on some more stuff. So thanks for being here, and good luck. You'll be terrific. Okay.